Hey everyone. So yeah, I've been talking for like 5 minutes or so. I forgot my headset was in mute. Hilarious. Anyway, so thank you, Bacon, for pointing it out. Um, Welcome back, everyone. So that was the second blunder of the day. Um, so we're redoing the stream because the earlier instance had some problems in the settings, so I had to redo it. Um, But yeah, welcome back. Today we're gonna talk about the Gunslinger class. It's one of the hottest topics in ROM right now. It's an upcoming class. It's gonna go out on the 27th of May, and a lot of the skill details have been floating around on the internet already. Actually, on the official simulator for ROM, it's already there, so you could read up. If you were in the unofficial Discord group, you probably have already seen the spreadsheet that was compiled by Team Leaks. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you are aware of the skills already. But we're going to talk a little bit about the interesting stuff. We're also going to discuss some theories, right, on how some of these skills may work. And, you know, maybe you could also drop your questions either in the Gunslinger Discord channel or in the comments for our live stream in YouTube. So yeah, just maybe if you want to do grab a cup of coffee, and you can join a discussion. Feel free to type up your comments. I'll be watching the messages in Discord and as well on the YouTube comments. Okay, so before we start, my usual disclaimers. I'm not a developer. I'm not a professional programmer. I don't work for XD. I don't know anyone who works in XD. I'm not affiliated with anyone who works in XD. Also, everything I'll be talking about will be solely based on my understanding of what I see in the in-game codes and my actual game experience. And before we proceed, I just want to take this opportunity to thank Team Leaks. So it's our whole group. If you've seen this spreadsheet, there's a lot of hours of work that has been put into this, specifically in the translation. Um, if you rely on Google Translate, it's kind of a little bit difficult to get the right context out of the wordings. So really big thanks to our translators within Team Leaks for doing all the hard work in terms of the translation. Yeah. So thanks again. Thanks for helping the community. So let's start off, right? I think I'm pretty sure everyone at this time already knows how the skill tree is, right? So you go from marksman to rebel to tyrant. Um, a lot of the first job skills, pretty much with the current gameplay, a lot of the first job skills are probably things you won't be using so much. There could be some that are still usable. Mostly utility skills or passives, but a lot of them just kind of become obsolete. Um, Before we proceed, let me just explain some stuff in the spreadsheet. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but recently we've added containers for the variable cast time, the fixed cast time, and the SP cost. And we did that because we don't want to get burned the same way we got burned in Ninja. So when Ninja when Ninja was coming up, it was the hype. I mean, everyone was so excited, right? I mean, especially on the magic part and the AA part. But the magic part really, I mean, as soon as we realized that there were some fixed cast time, it just killed the excitement, just killed all the fun. I mean, it's still usable, it's still a pretty good job, don't get me wrong. It's just that it would have been so much better if the fixed cast time wasn't there. So, um, what I'm trying to say here is if you see that this is blank, it just simply means that we don't have the information yet. Okay, one thing you have to understand is that we're working with very limited sources of information, and we don't want to mislead people by giving them information that isn't validated and that could turn out to be false. So everything here is still subject to change, but at least at this point in time all of these are true. Okay. So if it's blank, it means there's no info yet. If it's zero, I'll just specifically put in zero. Okay, so there's VCT, there's FCT on each field, and then the SB cost. So as you can see here, right? I mean, I left it as blank because there wasn't anything I could see there, and it's just, really doubtful if I put in 0 because this is an active skill. It would be very weird if it doesn't even have an SB cost. So it's quite possible that it doesn't have any cast time, right? But the SB cost, I highly doubt. But yeah, we'll probably get more information as we get more leaks or more sources of information as the 27th comes closer. Okay. So just watching the comments, okay. Hey, I know this name. This is 2-1, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna skip through those that I don't find interesting or that I think would just be pretty boring skills, right? Um, Pistol mastery seems to be fine. It looks good. It increases your attack, so this is a raw attack, and it increases your hit. So I think there's a typo here, guys. We'll probably have to correct that. So it should be 60, not 80. So we'll correct that later. But then, in breakthrough, it also gives damage ink, so PDI, which is about 10%. So definitely one of the skills you would want to max out. Blind shot. When I was reading through the skill for this, to the details for this, I somehow got a little bit confused because there's a hit penalty. And I was thinking, okay, if there's a hit penalty, why is it decreasing? So apparently the hit penalty is on yourself. So the way we understand this, okay, and this may change, is so basically the hit penalty applies to you. So if there's a lower skill level, there's a bigger hit penalty, and if you're at level 10, there's higher damage and lower hit penalty, which I think is pretty decent for a first job skill. The multiplier is pretty high for a first job skill, actually. And depending, the range is like 8 meters, right? And we don't know yet the casting and how spammable this is, but this single target, if you're new to the class and you don't want to use another class to farm or to level up, then this may be a decent way to level up because the damage is just really high. And then here, one of the things that everyone has been happy about, magic bullets. So I'm pretty sure a lot of the rune masters are happy about this, and a lot of those who are heavily invested in the gacha unlocks. So basically, this passive skill gives you a bonus. Okay, so it basically deals an additional of magic attack multiplied by X% worth of physical damage. And since it's physical, this is affected by death, ignore death, and such. What we do not know yet is how this will add up, right? I mean, is this a container within each and every skill that gets affected by each and every modifier within the skill? Or is this like soul severance from the ninja class wherein it gets added, right? We're gonna figure that out in the coming days. This is one of the things I have on my list to look out for because this is really interesting. It adds a layer of damage, right? I mean, this is one of those things wherein if you have certain deposits in your handbook, they don't necessarily go to waste if you switch over to this class. So yeah, it's 50% of your magic attack, and at breakthrough, it also increases your magic attack by 10%, which is really nice. This is definitely one of the skills you would want to get. Of course, if you're kind of like if you're using rifle, if your skill build is rifle. Um, I mean, we're gonna get there later, but if you read all of the skills, right, it does seem like the rifle is more for um, really long range sniper type of gameplay compared to pistol, which is kind of like medium range and someone who's kind of going in, engaging, and then dealing massive damage before exiting out. The rifle on the contrary, always stays far from the actual battle and tries to deal as much damage as it can. At least that's how I see it. Um, and then you have fragmentation grenade. Yeah, so this is just, this is basing off on magic attack and your dex. Um, I don't really know how this is gonna fare. I've seen some codes. Okay, and you know, just to set your expectations, there are some things that you've seen that haven't been confirmed yet, mainly because we're unable to link them together. I'm gonna discuss a little bit on that, but I'm not gonna say it's confirmed yet. Okay, so I've seen a buff that I think, yeah, it was in Fragmentation Grenade, where there's a chance to break the enemy's gears. Which gear it would break, I am not sure. Okay, I'm not sure if that's an S-tier enhancement or maybe it's from a rune or an advanced rune. But yeah, we've seen something like that wherein it adds a chance to break the equips. And then this one, the next skill, Fallen Angel. This has got to be one of the best skills that they've put in Gunslinger. Um, recently I have taken special interest in 6v6 matches in in PvP, mainly because our guild has started this internal tournament. And mobility and your ability to control your character actually means a lot when it comes to 6v6. So this skill, just look at the range. I mean, it basically makes your character dash, to a certain distance, right? And the range is nine cells. Okay, just to if you're using Ninja, 9 cells is about Amaterasu Flash, right? It's just like Amaterasu Flash, with the exception that um, there is no weapon restriction, and you can actually use it 2 times in a row. So, but it doesn't stop there. Okay, another one of the unconfirmed information. There is one thing we've seen wherein it could either be an advanced rune or an S-tier enhancement, wherein when you use the skill, it actually reloads your ammunition. So, so as you move away from a fight or as you engage, you have the, you know, it actually takes that chance to reload your bullets, right? And as you know, if you've read all of the skills and the weapon descriptions, the skills will use up ammunitions or bullets. And the assumption right now, and I'm saying the assumption because you haven't confirmed it, the assumption is that if you run out of bullets, you will stop attacking and you have to take time to reload. How the reload mechanism works and how long it is, we don't know yet because it's not out yet. But we're hoping to find out more details around that in the coming days. But basically, if if this particular enhancement in Fallen Angel is an S-tier or an advanced rune, then it's definitely something you have to get. Because then that means that you can go in, if you're a pistol, for example, you go in, you empty your bullets, okay, and then you use Fallen Angel, you reload, right? And then you empty your bullets again. So with this, you are able to do your reload action and um, your evasion or engagement actions both at the same time without really stopping. Okay, so yeah, really excited about this. I'm a little bit bitter because it feels like Ninja is the brother who got the shorter end of the stick. So I'm really kind of bitter about this skill. Okay, let's kind of look at Discord whether there are some questions. So these guys are just putting up emojis. There are no questions. Okay, and okay on YouTube, everyone's just okay. Gay. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so everyone's comments like that. Okay, just let me know if you do have any questions, guys. Just type it in and I'll answer it. There's also another skill that's also actually really good is smoke grenade. Now, it basically places smoke bombs and makes you hide for a short time. Okay, and it says if you translate the Chinese wordings, it says you can't be detected, but you also can't attack, right? And you can't attack basically. So it's hard coded that your attacks will be disabled actually when you are in this state. And it's kind of hard to confirm yet which skills will be able to detect you, or whether the true sight vision will be able to detect you. But the status that this skill gives you is deep hide. So that's a status that it gives based on what we've seen. Later on, maybe after this stream or when I have time later, I will go and check whichever skills gives deep hide, and then we can check whether those skills are, whether those are being detected by the true sight relic, or whether there are certain skills that will make them come out. But yeah, this is a very good escape skill. I would say this is good if you're using rifle. Really good if you're using rifle, so that when an enemy knows where you are, right, you can actually use this to hide and disengage and move to another position. Um, if you've noticed the way I'm talking as if everything will go according to plan, right? That's because when I theory craft, I always think about that. But to tell you the truth, a lot of the things we're going to talk about today and all the plans you're having in your minds, if you're in yo-yo, probably, yeah, maybe a lot of them will not happen. Maybe, it will be something like you go in, you engage, you kill, someone else kills you, you respawn, right? I mean, yo-yo is very casual. There's very little strategy there. 6v6 actually, it's where this will, all of these strategizing, takes place. Um, in War of Imperium, in War of Crystal, I think to a certain extent, yes. Um, you know, you will be able to really benefit and utilize all of the skills here. But it's just such a shame that in War of Crystal, sorry, in GVG as a whole, it's just almost impossible to select your target. And you see, when you are using a class like this, you'd want to be able to pick out targets that are crucial for the party or for the guild. And in the absence of that, it dampens the efficiency of the class a little bit. Like for me, for example, when I'm playing ninja, I do want to use genjutsu or all of those illusion skills on support jobs. I can't, right? Most of the time I end up casting them on either Divine Avengers or Rune Masters. I mean, it will have a certain impact, but it would have more impact if I was able to cast it on a Saint or maybe a Chronomancer. But yeah, we'll just have to deal with what we have. Okay, let's skip through this. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Um, okay. Warning shot, it's looks like, an efficient early game crowd control. So you have a chance to make them go into fear. But when I looked at the code here for this one, it actually has the run mechanics in fear. You know how when your RM does fear, um, the character runs away. I don't like that. I actually like Ninja's fear in certain scenarios wherein they just stay in place because that's where I want them to stay, right? Um, Ideally, if you use this and then you are, kind of using the Desperado build, you would want them to stay in place, right? I mean, because if they have very high move speed and they end up running away, then it's nothing, right? I mean, if you can't unleash your barrage of attacks, then they'll just recover. But yeah, who knows? Maybe this will get changed. I would assume this would be useful for people who are staying inside Light Shield, because since a lot of your skills are range in terms of launch range, um, it will be affected by Light Shield. So this will be good to get them out of Light Shield. Yeah, bulletproof vest. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Okay, let's look at here. Does Arcane Ancient or Ancient Ancient gonna affect it? So Bacon asked, right? So Magic Bullet, does Arcane Enchants or Empen Enchants will affect it? To be honest, we'll have to check. The problem, I mean, so we can't check yet because the buffs and all that, they're not linked. So I can't tell yet, but I'm gonna check later, and I will we'll get back to that. Um, because it says it's affected by defense, so physical defense, I would assume no, but I'll be stoked if it is. So yeah, we'll get back to that, Bacon, and I'll compile a list of the questions and I'll put them in the description or maybe in the comments. Okay, blood branded. So this one is also interesting, and we've had a short discussion on this when we were translating this, because the Chinese translation says you can track them from the interface anywhere. That's the Google Translate, and told you, right? Google Translate isn't so reliable. So basically, what this does is you can basically track an opponent um, for a certain duration, for about 30 seconds, across the whole map, and it will show up in your mini map, right? And they can't hide. Um, Now this seem okay, this seem good, right? But when it comes to times when it really matters, because you see your launch range is 8 meters, right? So you first have to get near them so that you can track them. Or they have to be within range so that you can track them, and then they fly anywhere, they go anywhere, and then you'd still be able to know. But the current challenge right now, for example, in War of Imperium, when you're defending, would be chronomancers or slayers, right? Those whose attack bypasses safety wall and light shield. So these people, right, especially if they have smoky card, they can hide, they can jump around with wormhole, and really, if you're able to track them, even if you're able to track them, right, it would be really nice and you can really efficiently defend your Imperium before they can tap it. But if you have to get close first, then that's a problem, right? I mean, it just significantly lessens the reliability of the skill. But overall, it's good, I think, right? I mean, it's pretty much like the Phantom Dancer skill. I think a lot of people have been saying that in Discord, where an enemy is unable to go into the hiding state. Yeah, still pretty good if you ask me. It's just that it would have been so much better if you can tag anyone, regardless of where they are in the map. I know it's gonna be OP, it's gonna be overpowered, it's gonna be broken, but it would have been a lot better that way. Okay, so let's go through flashbang. Flashbang is nothing but, blinding and getting chances to for physical skills to miss. We have yet to clarify whether this includes auto attacks. It also has a chance to stun. So this is one of the. So as you can see the crowd control skills for Gunslinger, it's there, but they're not as heavy. I mean, to be honest, if I'm up against Gunslinger, I won't be worried about their crowd control. I'll be worried about their damage. Okay, we haven't seen the actual computation yet, but a lot of the multipliers that we're seeing here is just pretty huge, and the fact that they can dish out damage from really far locations is something to be worried about actually. Yeah, there's also a skill. It's a passive skill that extends your ammunition. Like for example, we've seen pistols that have like 10 bullets capacity. So if you have this skill, it just basically increases it. Okay. Um, this one and so what do you for crossfire here? What's good to note is that it's a channeling skill, and I don't know if you've played enough if you've played enough MMORPGs or MOBA games, but channeling skills basically makes your character stay in place as it's casting that particular skill or spell. So for this one, you just kind of continuously fire on a certain area in front of you every zero point 0.5 seconds, and it deals about your attack multiplied by X% plus ag over 30. Okay, we haven't seen the full code yet, but if we're gonna base it solely on the description, on how it's written, okay, you have to think about PEMDAS, okay, the right operation in mathematics. So, so if we're strictly looking at this, it does appear like ag over 30 will be part of the skill damage modifier. So let's say, for example, it's 630, right? And then you have about, no, say, for example, 300 agi. So you put it over 30, you divide it by 30, and then the result, you add it to the actual multiplier. So there's still a lot of research that has to be done here. Like, is this by percentage, or how does it convert, right? Or is there a cap? But we're gonna figure out. So, but just solely basing on how it looks like, it does seem like Agi will become a multiplier, a skill multiplier, not skill damage multiplier. Okay, that's different, but more like a skill multiplier to pistol skills. So we can pretty much assume, looking at this, that you probably have to invest in Agi. And this is one of the things that kind of um, stops me from really seeing Gunslinger as a very overpowered class. If you look at the skills, there's barely, I mean, there isn't, actually, there's almost nothing that supports an auto attack build. There's almost nothing. Um, and Agi is becoming a multiplier, since Agi is becoming an enhancement, you basically have to invest in agility, but you're not gonna use the attack speed that you get out of it, right? Yeah, maybe you can use the flee part. Um, we'll also have to check about the gears, right? About whatever is available to see how efficient a flee build is on Gunslinger. But with the absence of improved dodge, you know, a multiplier to your raw flee, it just becomes half baked for me. I mean, if you've noticed, a lot of the classes who are focusing on flee, majority would have improved dodge, and that's why they're able to reach higher levels of flee. This class doesn't have it, so when you invest in Agi, it does look like you'd be investing for the skill multiplier. Okay, and then we don't know yet what the base attack will be based off. I would assume it's going to be Dex because this is a ranged class. So basically, if you're pistol, you'd probably have to go Dex, Agi, and then you have to pick your third stat. It could be, I don't know, maybe it could be Vitality or Vit, so that you can actually become a little bit tanky. Okay, I don't know how tanky this class will be. If it turns out the same as Ninja, then you're toast. If it's the same as Ninja, you're toast. I'm telling you guys. I have tried my utter best to make Ninja tanky. Of course, with the resources that I have. I don't have a lot of plus 15s. I only have one plus 15. But with the investment that I've put into Ninja and make it tanky, I still feel as squishy as a jellyfish. So, so yeah. Anyways, moving on. I talked too much about this part. So this is the skill that everyone has been excited about, Desperado. Um, I remember, I mean, I haven't been around in ROPC when they released Gunslinger, so I don't know the skills of Gunslingers in ROPC. I've never tried it. But basically, this is one of the most hyped skills. I think it does look cool. I mean, just basing it on the description. But yeah, what it basically does is, so you fire randomly at enemies within 5-meter ranges, right? And then it causes X damage of your physical attack plus Agi over 20. So again, I'm assuming Agi is a multiplier here. And then, you have to use pistols and it consumes 3 bullets. So if you have, for example, let's just talk about Desperado. If you have a pistol that has 10 ammunitions, and then you have the extend clip, sorry, where's that? Which gives about 6, so that brings your ammo up to 16, then you'd probably be able to release about 5 Desperados. So that's of course assuming you're still alive, because you have to get a little bit close to be able to unleash the full potential of the skill. Yeah, so as you can see, the multipliers, decent. I'd say it's decent, right? For a skill that's multi-hit. So this multiplier is per hit. So this is pretty decent. We don't know the casting time yet, right? And we don't know the SP cost. For all we know, maybe the SP cost is about 1,000 or so, which makes it really not that feasible. So we don't know yet. So stay tuned for that. This one, this is a good skill. This is a good skill, guys. This is a passive. So basically, whenever you use pistol weapons, and every time you hit an enemy, their flee will be reduced and their defense will be reduced, and it stacks up to 10 stacks. At max level, each hit will reduce def by 200 and each hit will reduce flee by 25. So 10 stacks roughly is about 250 flee and 2000 def. So that's a lot. Actually, that's a lot. Considering um, later on you're gonna see the skill which is called Death Dance, if I'm not mistaken. Um, it it hits multiple times in a fraction of a second. Sorry, in a second it's multiple times. So you can easily build up these 10 stacks. Okay, but that's not the end of it. Okay, again, unconfirmed part. There's something that we've seen. It could be an S-tier modification or maybe an advanced rune, wherein this passive will also reduce the enemy's crit rate and crit resist per stack. We don't know yet how much. Again, the things are not linked. The things are not linked, so we can't validate how much. But there there seems to be an enhancement that reduces the crit chance and the crit resist of the enemy. Okay. Oh, someone asked. So Gunslinger is melee or ranged? It's ranged. I know you guys are joking, but yeah, it's ranged. Okay. Yeah. Okay, coin flip. This is basically a buff wherein, it's heads or tails. I've seen a code for this. It's 50-50. Okay, so there's a 50% chance it's heads, it's 50% chance it tails. So it either just increases your luck and your magic attack or agi and your move speed. So as you can see, right, this is just the coin flip actually pertains to whether you're pistol or rifle build. The rifle build benefits from magic attack and luck, which you will see later, while the pistol build benefits on agi and move speed. So yeah, it's pretty much just you know picking which aspect to buff. AWP shot. To be honest, I don't know what AWP means. Anyways, so there's a variable here that I've added. This is ready time. So this is kind of like um it's kind of like a casting to get ready, and you can't reduce this basically. There's no way you can reduce this currently. Okay, I'm not sure in the future if there will be ways to reduce this. But yeah, pretty much with Bowling Bash. So Bowling Bash has this cast at the start, right? Which, it has to fill up the bar first before it actually does the attack. So this one has a zero point 0.5 ready time. And it deals physical damage based on your attack and ignores these skills, which is Kyrie, Auto Guard, Sword Parry, Light Shield. Um, a lot of people have been kind of excited about this, saying that this would be a good counter to Rune Masters, to Divine Avengers. To be honest, I don't really think this would be too much of a problem for these classes. You have to keep in mind that currently there are already a lot of skills that ignores these defensive skills, and I don't think they so far they have posed such a serious problem to these classes. Um, the multiplier is decent. The range is about 7 meters. So I think if you have maxed out all of the range skills and you're on the Eagle Eye buff, it's about 14 meters. So it's pretty far actually. And the the multiplier is decent. Now this all boils down to cooldown and to cast delay, as well as if there will be any casting apart from the ready time. But I don't see this as really being such a game breaker skill. But I think this skill is actually needed for another skill, which we'll base it off from here. Okay, so yeah, so again, I talk about the rifle modification, which is extensive skills. And then you also have grenade launcher, which reduces um, the cooldown for some of the grenade and bomb skills and the casting range. You see the problem with this, and I'm going to talk a little bit about casting range, right? The problem with casting range is the fact that, and I don't know how they're going to implement this, okay? But the fact that a lot of our devices, the devices that we use are, let's say, average or mediocre, right? Um, so you don't really get that ultra wide view. And even if you do, having a lot of elements in the screen just basically either um, slows you down or forces you to lower your settings, which in turn then just diminishes your efficiency because you basically can't see people. Also, the fact that you can't really pinpoint the target that you want in large scale fights, it may come to a point where you select a target, but that target is too far back, which causes you to advance and then get caught in the line of fire of the enemies. So you see, there will be a lot of these things that's at play, right, with this class. I would assume that when you're playing this, you probably have to be on stay alert the whole time so that your character won't walk around, into the actual fight. Yeah, look for cover. This is nice, and I think, and I'm a little bit bitter against the thief classes. That's because the hiding skill, I think the hiding skill that they have is just overpowered. If you go way, way back in classic Ragnarok, hide is a skill that you use to hide in place you can't walk, right? And then assassins, they got the cloak. I think that's the name of the skill. So you can basically stay invisible and you can move around as long as you cling to walls. That's exactly what this skill is. And then I think it was stalkers who have the tunnel drive skill where they can walk while in hiding. So you see, those were good times, right? Those are good times. But now, I mean, these hiding skills, they've become so pesky. It's right. It's like you can hide anytime, you can move freely, right? And the cooldown isn't even that big. And there's no casting. I mean, Ninja Hide has casting. And on top of that, it's so unreliable. It's like 50% of the time you press it, it casts, and then you don't even go into hiding. So, so I'm really bitter on on that part against the thief classes. So I really think, I mean, I like this. I like this skill. I really think, they should tone a bit down on the hide skill. I think, I mean, like for currently, right, a lot of people in PvP, they're just staying in hide, waiting for the perfect opportunity. I'm not saying it's not a fun way to play. It's actually fun. I tried it once. It's fun. It's fun to actually dish out death, from unseen angles. But yeah, if you're on the receiving end, it's not so much fun. Okay, before I go to the tyrant skill list, let's just look through some of the questions that we have here. Is there anything in the code that you found is able to reduce the ready time for AWP shot from bacon again? No, nothing. I haven't seen anything yet. Um, I haven't seen any gear yet that reduces ready time. Okay. Okay, wow, we have 39 viewers. That's nice. It's nice. So thanks everyone. If you're watching, if you're still watching, I hope you have your coffee because I know sometimes when I start to blabber, it could be a little bit boring and some people tend to fall asleep. So yeah, if you have coffee, you better get it there. Okay, now let's go to tyrant skills. Okay. This one, locked and loaded, we have yet to figure out how it actually, how, you know, how it works, basically. Is it 1.5? damage on the skill level, or is it like final damage level, right? Because it makes a lot of difference, right? I mean, maybe it just multiplies the, and we call it dam change per because that's a skill modifier. Maybe it just multiplies a skill modifier, which maybe you won't feel a lot, right? But maybe if this is like on final damage level, then 50% there, could be really, really good. So we don't know yet. Stay tuned for this. But I think 30% is really good. The rate is really good considering you would be dishing out a lot of attacks with pistols in fractions of seconds. Okay, Dance of Death. This is a skill that's based off of Desperado's damage. So you basically randomly fire at enemies within 5-meter ranges. So it's the same as Desperado, but it's based off on the damage of Desperado, and it does the damage every zero point 0.3 seconds for 3 seconds. So one castle. Let's say, for example, you've pinned down one enemy. It's just him. Okay, so you basically deal this damage, right, 10 times to this particular enemy, and it consumes 4 bullets, which means you can use it again afterwards, right? And then because of the skill set you have, right, the one, I forgot the name of the skill, but the one that removes death and that reduces death and reduce evasion, then your second cast will basically be more efficient. Again, I'm talking from the perspective where everything will go your way. Okay, the survivability plays a big part here. Okay, likewise, how these actually work, right? I mean, there's a lot of intricacies or a lot of things within the skill that is not so evident with the skill description and even the codes. So it actually matters. Like, let me give you an example. Um, the quick escape, I think it's called, no, not quick escape. It's a flying Raijin skill. It's a teleport skill for ninja, right? So if you're looking at it, you'd think, oh, it's pretty nice. You mark someone, you teleport behind them, and then you use your skill, right? Because you read the skill and that what comes into your mind. But the problem is when you actually use it, when you teleport behind, there's an animation delay. So your character will spend maybe like half a second, right? In the animation delay, you're already there. You're already behind the target. The problem is you can't do anything for a fraction of a second. And then if the character is in movement, if they're moving around, then you basically lose them. They're basically out of your range already, right? I mean, it's good, right? It's good overall. Maybe if you're really, really quick, you can still catch up. But yeah, I just feel like a lot of these things are eaten up by the animation delay. So it depends. This is a really good skill. Um, Especially since you can actually move around, once you have the moving while shooting skill. So you can move around. There's a movement speed reduction, but that's fine. I mean, it's at max level, there's a 10% movement speed reduction, so you can still use this. One question that I have here, okay, and we have to validate that. I don't think we can validate that through the code. We'll probably be able to validate that once it comes out in CBT, and I think you'll will be streaming when it comes out. What's interesting here is, will it work if you use Dance of Death and then equip your mount? And you basically, even if the enemies is running around, right? You basically just follow them along, just pretty much like what some of the Novice Guardians are doing, I think, wherein they cast Card Tornado and then they equip their mounts. I'm not sure if they're doing it for maximum damage or maybe because if you have the advanced rune, you also have a Card Tornado forming around you, so you can just walk. You can basically hug the enemy to deal more damage. Okay, yeah. So question from Medi. So does that Dance of Death deal damage randomly to one nearby enemy at a time, or does it do AoE? With the information that we have at hand, based on the text, it does it to one enemy at a time. If I just base it on the text, okay? What I'll do is, as soon as we have more information, I will try to see whether there's anything in the code where we can we can pinpoint whether it will do damage to everyone. But anyways, you're gonna find out on the 27th how it actually works. But yeah, we'll try to figure it out before the 27th. Okay, now this is for me, if you ask me, this will be my favorite skill for Gunslinger. Absolute shot. I've always been a fan of I've never been, I mean, mainly because my character isn't really that strong in terms of dealing damage. So I'm more of like the guy who is, you know, lurking around waiting for the perfect opportunity to either cause damage or, you know, to be a nuisance. So, so what this skill does is it will charge up. The ready time here is about 5 seconds. That's the max ready time. The skill allows you to break it by moving, right? And you basically are charging it up to 5 seconds because every second increases the damage by 50%. Now, again, this is very similar to, I think the skill is Arms Cannon. I think there's a rune where it allows you to charge it and then multiplies the damage, right? We don't know yet whether this will work the same way, wherein, it multiplies it on a skill level, or maybe it just increases the damage, the skill modifier, right? So we don't know that yet. We're gonna get there once we have more information. But yeah, so it basically deals AWP damage multiplied by X plus attack multiplied by target's def over 500. So this is a little bit tricky, and I'm just basing this on the way it is written. Okay, again, your brackets, your operations, they do matter when you do math. Okay, so when you look at this, it does seem like the attack, attack multiplied by target's def over 500 will not be part of what is being amplified by this skill. So it is quite possible that this portion here, the attack portion multiplied by the def, um, could be increased maybe by damage inc or some other variables, but it does seem like this multiplier here doesn't cover this. That's mainly because there's a plus right here. So you have to follow PEMDAS, the proper order of operations. So yeah, we will get to find out more once we actually see the actual once we see the actual code. But for now, I don't think this part, because I'm guilty. I've been trying to tease people in the Divine Avengers channel. I like to kick them when they're down, basically. So um, this make it seem like it's a total counter to people who have very high def. But if it's just something that's gonna appear like maybe a flat damage, that's not really that much affected by other multipliers, then it's really nothing that Divine Avengers can't deal with. It's just something that they're gonna heal with either one berry, or maybe just will be eaten up by the auto guard heal. But yeah, so we have yet to figure out how this part actually works. Now let me tell you, if this part suddenly becomes a multiplier, right? Like this attack, because you can read this differently, right? Depending on how it will actually be written. Let me theorize for a second here. If you actually make it that this will become a multiplier, this portion, then it's just so broken. Divine Avengers will just drop dead at the first sight if this will become a multiplier to this skill. But yeah, I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I mean, that would be too broken. Okay, so yeah, the charging time allows you to increase the damage. So 5 multiplied by 50, so that's roughly about 2.5. So, which is pretty decent if you ask me. Pretty good considering you can throw it from 14 cells away, right? Um, yeah. Now, there's one thing here that, really I was hyped with this part, right? But when we went to translating Blood Curtain, kind of killed a little bit of my hype. That's because it only works on pistols. Um, no, sorry, it works on rifles. Okay, okay, thank God. So it works on rifles. So actually, so my dream is still alive. So you basically are located elsewhere, right? Very far away. And then as you hit your enemies, there's a chance to make them bleed. And once they start bleeding, they will be unable to see you. So it basically becomes a wild goose chase, right? Wherein you are throwing out damage from afar and they literally have no idea where you're coming from. Unless, unless, and we don't know, again, we don't know how this skill will actually work, right? I mean, I don't know if you've played MOBA, but in MOBA, I mean, in ML, for example, there are these characters that that are able to snipe certain characters, right? And usually there's this line that shows where it's coming from. So I don't think they will do that, but who knows, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that they haven't put in the text that they may implement later on. Yeah, bounty, yeah, I think it's good. It's a good support skill. I'm not so stoked about it. It allows you to refill your bullets when you kill someone, or maybe restore HP and SP. It's good, right? I mean, if you kill someone, but if it's a one-on-one scenario, you kill someone, it you can already heal out. If it's a many versus many scenario, I think that's also good. But then, you have to keep in mind, I think based on the skills, Gunslinger isn't really built for endurance. So I'm not sure how this will fare, to be honest. Could be good for your basically for your teammates, right? So you basically, say for example, you have a rune master teammate. He's hacking onto someone, right? He starts using asphyxia. So his HP depletes, right? So you can actually cast that on his target so that when that person dies, he can refill his HP and SP without having to cast a frenzy or maybe any potions. Okay. Yeah, Eagle Eye. So this basically just extends your range. So you can't move. You can't move. It extends your range. There was a question from Bacon earlier in our chat. He was asking if you use this and if you use the Fallen Angel, where and it allows you to dash, will you be able to move? So I'm not sure. We can't tell yet based on what information we have. So I'm sorry, guys, if a lot of the things I'm talking about is we're not sure, we're not sure. You may feel like you've been cheated of your time. To be honest, it's fair to feel that way. But I wanted to go through this and just share some of the thoughts that we have we have around these skills. So sorry if a lot of you were expecting some concrete answers. Um, yeah. So Blood Curtain. I know there have been a lot of questions whether it will work with what was that again? There was this equip or the gear that has 100% chance to cause bleeding. So um I will check later, but if I remember correctly, there's a code here that says it has to come from this. So basically the bleed buff is unique to this skill and basically the part where you will not be detected by the enemy, there was a condition that it has to refer to the bleeding ear. Of course, all of this is subject to change. When it comes out, there could be a lot of changes, similar to what happened with Divine Avengers, right? So when it first came out, when we tried it in CBD, it was really, really good. But then before they release it in Seiya, they make such a big adjustment on counterattack Halo. So, so yeah, it could still happen. This one, Dual Me, is nice. I say it's nice because it's not overly good, right? I mean, it's max HP. It's based on current HP, actually. Um, so it reduces 20% of current HP based on the text that I've read. But I think the way they translated here is max HP, so we'll see. We'll wait for that. But even then, um, it's it's not so much, right? I mean, basically, um, especially if it's not that spammable and if it's just 20% in one hit. There are a lot of classes doing more than 20% in one hit. So this is mediocre for me. Platinum Age is kind of like a Kyrie type of skill where it blocks damage. Okay, it blocks damage for X number of seconds, and it's based on the number of bullets that you have when you cast this. So every two bullets will block a single damage. You can already see from the description here, this would be effective against skillers, but not against auto attack types. They will just whack at this. Your shield is basically useless in less than, a few seconds. So you really have to be good at controlling your character and be able to exit out right away if one of these auto attack types gets close to you. Also, because it's on a hit basis, right? I mean, even if it's one damage, it removes it. It actually doesn't make it so great. Um, like for example, if you're up against a ninja and they put up clones and the clones attack you, right? The auto attacks of clones are pretty weak, right? I mean, they I don't think anyone dies from the auto attack of clones if you're not auto attack build, right? So even a magic ninja can summon their clones and they do auto attack on you, and that would be sufficient to actually get rid of all of your shield layers already. Yeah, so this is nice. This increases the berserk penetration. It's a good thing because there have been minimal sources of pen so far that I've seen for this character. So this is good. Also, it refreshes the it refreshes the skill duration whenever you kill an enemy. So yeah, for large scale battles, this is really good. Rain of Fire looks like a skill that would remove area of effects. We don't. I'm gonna come up with a list. I think I pretty much figure out what it will remove. I just haven't had time to put the list together, but we'll come up with a list. We'll post it in the Gunslinger channel on which AoE skills this skill can remove. Yeah, and another one, Forced Eviction. This is one of the skills that I think will be really good. Um, Mainly because it strips buff and it prevents buffs from being applied for a certain amount of time. 8 seconds is long, believe me. If you can't put in buffs, right, keep in mind that your anti-fatal skills, if they're active skills, you won't be able to use them. I think Rune Masters, being the favorite characters of the developers, would be okay because they have a rune that prevents their buffs from being removed. But for the other classes, I think this will be a little bit of a challenge if they get hit with this. So 8 seconds is pretty long. It's actually enough to kill you. Yeah, and there's a ready time of 1 second, and so far, like what I said, right? I haven't seen anything that reduces this. If there's a downside to this skill, it's that it takes 1 second to cast. Okay, so that's pretty much it. These are all just enhancement skills. Um, there's one thing here that's pretty nice, a headshot. So when you're using absolute shot, so you have a chance to actually instant kill the target. So the chance is actually based on your luck minus the enemy's luck multiplied by X%. So so this is nice. Actually, I was talking about, okay, if this is really that good, then maybe let's just build a gunslinger that's full luck, full vit, right? And then you do nothing but get in position, use um use absolute shot in hopes of triggering an auto kill, an instant kill, right? So you don't care about damage. You spend all of your gears and everything you have to boost up your luck and your survivability, right? And then you just count on the auto kill, the instant kill. So yeah, we don't know yet. We don't know how this is gonna turn out. I'm actually very interested to see how the computation for this one would work. And so another skill that's actually in conjunction with this. So not really this with absolute shot. So whenever you're using absolute shot, it actually increases your attack by your luck multiplied by X. So it's luck multiplied by 15. Okay, so there are some other here, but they're pretty much just enhancements. Um, One interesting, and this is unconfirmed yet, guys, so this may still change, right? I mean, these are some of the ESER skills that we've seen. We don't have the description yet, but there's one. Um, and I'm not sure if this is pertaining to the ESER skill or maybe this is an advanced rune. And this could still be changed again, or maybe we got it wrong. It's there, but it's not linked, so we can't confirm 100%. So there's basically this one buff. Um, if you translate it, it says adrenaline. And it basically, the attributes it gives you is lock HP, which means you don't lose HP. So it's very interesting to see what it actually means, right? So it could be an anti-fatal skill. It could be an anti-death skill for Gunslinger. But that's not all, right? I mean, on top of that, this particular buff also has a certain percentage of status resist. So it's resistance to all of the statuses. Not so it's not CC resist, okay? It's not like Grandma Wolf card. It will give you resist to all individual statuses. Pretty much like what do you call that skill again? Fatal infection of phantom dancers. So so as you can see, there's a chance. Okay, there's a chance. I'm saying there's a chance because it's not confirmed yet. There's a chance that you get an anti-fatal skill that adds resist to status effects. And I think if they get this, then this will be. I think the Desperado build will be really really strong if that's true because you basically and we don't know how long the duration is, but for that duration, you don't have to think about, you know, you don't have to think about dying and potentially also if depending on how high it is, we don't know yet. We don't know how high the percentage is. There is a probability that you may be immune to certain crowd control effects, right? While you're under this skill. So really exciting. We don't we don't we don't know yet whether what the values are or whether it's really gonna come up as an advanced skill or maybe as a root S here. So we'll just probably have to wait for that. Okay. Okay, so let's go through some of the questions here. So from Francis, he was asked, so let me see here. Is a blood curtain bleed a unique bleed itself for GS? On first look, it does appear to be. Okay, it does look like yes, and it does look like the effect where the enemy is unable to see when they're on bleed. It does look like it needs to be triggered from this particular skill. We don't know yet. We can't confirm 100%, but in the coming days, we're hoping we could confirm that. Any defensive skills or escapability, there is a very good utility skill, which is Fallen Angel, which allows you to dash 9 meters. 9 meters is pretty long. I don't think anyone can chase you that far, really. The problem is, again, if you're up against the favorite class of the developers, which is Rune Masters, there is a chance that they'll just put a chain on you, Death Link, and then you won't be able to use it. Similarly to how when I use Ninja, I'm unable to use Leap, and then I'm unable to use Amaterasu Flash whenever the Your rune masters cast the death link on me. Okay, where else? Yeah. So, but basically, yeah, that's a very good skill, Fallen Angel. If if our assumption is true about one of the buffs we've seen, it also allows you to reload your bullets when you use it. There's a question. Skull Bracer plus Valk Wings is good for rifle weapon skill. Um, a lot of these, a lot of the rifle skills are single target. I'd say yes. Okay, from a perspective of being able to utilize the effect, yes, it can proc it, pretty much proc it. The problem that you'd have is when you're rifle, you're probably far away, right? And unless you're in a 1v1 situation, it's quite possible that your Lex, right, from the Valkwings will just be used by someone else, which is not bad, right? I mean, but if a very weak character attacks after you, then it's actually a little bit wasted. But yeah, I mean, based on what we see, it should proc. Whether it's effective, I think I will not be able to tell you yet. My opinion about Gunslinger, I think it has a potential. To be fair, there's a lot of things we don't know yet, right? One is what stat will it use for damage scaling, for attack scaling? Currently, range classes uses Dex, right? I would like to hope that it uses Dex. But what if they do a complete 180 degrees like what they did with Ninja, right? Ninja have this attack speed thing with their auto attack, which made it less efficient for auto attack build. So So yeah, they could put in some mechanics that's not clearly explained here, right? That may affect how it overall works. Also, the reload part, we don't know yet how it works, how long it's gonna take. We have skills that reduces the duration of the reload by X seconds, so you can already assume that it takes several seconds to do a reload, right? And if you don't get any of those skills that does auto reload for you, then you're toast. I don't think it'd be that useful. Oh, someone asked, can it delete Stellar Hunter? I think Stellar Hunters are pretty strong. I mean, I don't think the devs will delete them. Um, so let's see what else. Gunslinger, another class to counter CM. Uh, I don't think so. I don't think there's anything that Gunslinger has that directly counters CM. To be fair, CM is highly mobile, has good crowd control skills. Whatever Gunslinger has, right, doesn't directly counter CM. But if they're stronger than the CM, they'll probably just kill the CM anyways, right? And it's really non-class related. So I don't think they're a direct counter to CMs, but you know, they are in a way, if you're really good and if you're strong, you could probably render some CNs useless, but you could also say the same about other classes, right? So I don't think it's a direct counter, but yeah, it could. Okay. So someone's really eager to delete Stellar Hunters. Okay, GS has potential for utility support build. So GS has potential. It has potential for support, but not in the same sense as Ninja support. Ninja support is more on, okay, I'll set the stage, I'll make the play, you guys kill. Okay, I'll control them, I'll make sure I control the ground, I'll corner them somewhere, I'll stop them from going elsewhere. You guys focus on killing. That's how ninja support is. This one is more like it's support in a sense that you support others while they're attacking other people, right? And you do it from afar. Likewise, when you're on Desperado, while someone is whacking someone, you can just go in, cast your death dance, and then all the others would still be able to enjoy the debuff you're giving out to the enemy, right? But it's not really in the sense that you control the game tempo. Um, it's really more on assisting on the damage. Okay, Kimwe said idle. Ah, let's remove that. I hate Kimwe for now. No, just kidding. Let's unremove that. How do you unremove that? Okay, sorry, Kimmy, I forgot. I didn't know you can't unremove that. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see. GS better long range damager than SH. Um, range wise, Gunslinger range is pretty long. I mean, SH can't compete with the range of Gunslinger. But but um, Gunslinger, the range Gunslinger, like rifle build, right? I'd say it's one of those characters where if you want to kill, you have to kill in one shot, right? Because if you don't kill in one shot, they can just probably heal it the next one. Stellar Hunters, on the other hand, are since they're auto attacks, most of the builds are auto attacks. They're able to put in some crowd control stuff that would render you useless while they're attacking you. So they're in a sense they're different. It's really hard to compare them. The range of Stellars is definitely shorter, but I think their capability to dish out damage per second is also pretty high. I mean, I know a lot of people have been complaining with the damage, but if you fight really strong Stellar Hunters, they can just they just make mincemeat out of you in a few seconds. Any potential for grenade launcher build? I don't think so. I mean, based on the skills that we have here right now, the grenades are pretty weak and they mostly serve as support skills in a way that they have certain debuffs. So, I mean, yeah, you can debuff the whole time and you can choose not to kill, but so far there are only two types of weapons, pistols and rifles. So there are no grenade launchers, there's no Gatling gun, and if people are asking if there will be an auto attack build, currently I don't see any build like that. Okay, yeah. Oh, one thing before we end this. There's one thing, okay, again on the unconfirmed part, right? There's one thing we've seen. This could pretty well be an advanced rune. Okay, I don't think this will be an easier. There's basically a code that we've seen where certain skills will not consume bullets. So I really reserve that for the last. Okay, if if that will turn out to be confirmed, if that really is an advanced rune skill, then you obviously need that because if you have that and your skills doesn't use bullets, then it actually brings up the gunslinger game up a notch already because you won't have to stop to reload. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I think it's not too far-fetched to have that. I think it's pretty possible that it will be either a star S rune or an S rune. Yeah, so I think that's it for our stream, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Um, I hope you didn't get bored too much. I tend to blabber a lot, but yeah, basically, just to give a recap, we talked about some of the skills. I shared my thoughts about some of the skills. We are looking forward to be able to get more details around them. So I would suggest on the 27th, you mark your calendars. You will be streaming from CBT. The rest of Team Leaks will be there on standby to assist with any clarifications because we all know Yul doesn't speak Chinese and he'll have to play through CBT in Chinese. So I'm pretty sure a lot of our translators and Team Leaks will support him um, in terms of translating some of this stuff there. So yeah, anyways, thanks a lot. Thanks for joining me in our stream today. I am equally excited for the Gunslinger class. I don't know if I will try it, to be honest. I have no idea if I'll try it. Um, I am heavily invested in Ninja, and to be honest, I enjoy Ninja, especially in our 6v6 matches. I heavily enjoyed the gameplay I've built around Ninja, so I probably stay with Ninja for quite some time. So, but yeah, feel free to just drop us a message in the Discord group, and feel free to just go back to the video if you want to rewatch it. Also, I am pretty sure in the future I will still be uploading some videos explaining about some of the mechanics of the game, and also I'm gonna make sure that I probably spend majority of my time, um, at least for the next couple of days, to look through Gunslinger stuff. So feel free to message me. I'm always available in Discord. I may not reply right away. I have also my personal stuff going on, but I will try to respond to everyone whenever I'm free. So again, thanks everyone for watching, and I hope you guys